You cannot ignore counties that to you have small populations. President Moi was president in this country. He didn't ignore us. President Mwai Kibaki was president in this country. He didn't ignore arid and semi-arid areas. President Uhuru Kenyatta was president in this country. He didn't talk openly against us. President Ruto is president in this country. He's not talking openly against us. So please, if you are planning to be president, you should think about all of us. If you are a government official, na wewe ni mkubwa, usiseme mambo ambayo yatafanya sisi twende wazimu. We cannot accept this. We fought for this government. We want to be in this government. We want the resources of this government. We want the development plan of this government to be fair to all of us. Na hatutakubali. Nobody is going to tunya us. Nobody is going to tunya us in this dispensation. We will not keep quiet, my friend. We will not. May I start by saying thank you for coming on short notice to this brief press conference. I know all of us are busy. Today is, it's got a lot of things going on, but thank you for coming. This press conference is in response to the statement that His Excellency, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, said when he was in Embu at a function in a church. His Excellency said that he is a supporter of 1 vote, 1 man, 1 shilling. We want to tell him that we are in Kenya supporters of 1 man, 1 vote, 1 kilometer, and we have no apology to make at all. His statement is a very unfortunate statement because it is a continuation or an attempt at continuation of economic segregation of areas in this country that are arid and semi-arid. It is economic discrimination of areas in this country that are arid and semi-arid. And we are not in this country we are not apologizing for being in this country. We are not in this country by mistake. We are here and we are not going anywhere. And this policy has a background. Sessional paper 1965, sessional paper number 10 of 1965, that was adopted by the independence government. The Minister for Economic Development at that time, Thomas Joseph Mboya, they wrote a sessional paper that was adopted that was saying that the nation of Kenya should invest in high potential area and ignore areas that, according to them, were low potential areas for development. And the economic impact of that sessional paper is being felt up to today. Because what it did, it created a government policy of discrimination against areas that were semi-arid and arid areas, including my county, Tana River. This discrimination was, papers that came afterwards, sessional papers that came afterwards, they tried to correct this discrimination. The Constitution of 2010 tried to create to assuage the areas by creating some form of compensation mechanism for this discrimination. But this economic discrimination has gone on for too long, and it is sad that His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, would want to bring a 1965 policy to apply it in 2024. It is not acceptable in this country today that we will choose deliberately by government policy to try and ignore some of us who are coming from arid and semi-arid areas. It is not correct. It is not correct, and we will not accept. And what I'm saying here is shared by many, many colleagues that we have discussed this matter with. We think it is a wrong statement, it is an unfortunate statement, and I want to remind those people who are talking as they do. If you are planning to be president of this country, if you are hoping to run for president in this country, you cannot ignore counties that to you have small populations. You cannot ignore. President Moi was president in this country. He didn't ignore us. President Mwai Kibaki was president in this country. He didn't ignore arid and semi-arid areas. President Uhuru Kenyatta was president in this country. He didn't talk openly against us. President Ruto is president in this country. He's not talking openly against us. So, please, if you are planning to be president, you should think about all of us. This nation is one nation. This republic is one republic. The head needs the heart. The heart needs the kidneys. The kidneys needs the stomach. Everybody has a role to play. I say so because right now, the entire Republic of Kenya is enjoying electricity from the River Tana. The River Tana is the one that is supporting 80% of the hydroelectricity that is produced in Kenya. And it is the River Tana which is coming from those counties that you are saying have no population that is supporting this growth of the economy across this country. We all need each other. This thing of trying to segregate people, trying to make others to be small, is not going to fly this time, and we will not accept it. First of all, I urge Kenyans who are listening to me that this statement is not a government statement, because there was no cabinet meeting that sat down to approve that statement. This statement is not a party position. There was no time that we held a Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group meeting or a UDA parliamentary group meeting where we approved 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. We are one country, for Christ's sake. Please, let us not divide this nation. We have problems right now. We are dealing with floods. Our children have not gone to school. Many children in Tana River have not gone to school. We have hunger problems because our farms have been flooded. You know, instead of dealing with emergency issue, which has been given in the docket of the office of the vice president, you are telling us we don't matter. How can you do politics like this? We are aggrieved and we feel it is wrong, and Kenyans must accept that we are part and parcel of this country and we are going nowhere. When you use an example and say one constituency has 300,000 people and it's receiving the same as another constituency with 14,000 people, my friend, from 1963, that constituency has had roads, it has had lightning, it has stima wamekuwa nayo, they have had stima, they have had markets, they have had hospitals, they have had everything. This constituency, you are talking about 14,000 people. That constituency was discriminated from independence. And by the way, that sessional paper was developed only 18 months after independence. 18 months after independence. It was hurriedly drawn and it was wrong in terms of what it was trying to achieve. In fact, what was happening, those so-called high potential areas, they belong to the political elite. So the political elite started using that government paper to draw resources to their areas. It was so bad that in those days people were saying, tunaenda Kenya. When you are coming from your area, it's like you are not a Kenyan, because there was no resource that was being taken to our counties. Now that resources are going to our counties, now that CDF is reaching to every part of the nation, we do not want to see a return of 1963 policies where other parts of the nation are being treated like they are not Kenya. We are not going to agree to that. We are not going to agree to that in this government. We are not going to agree to that in our political parties. And please, if you want to do your politics, do them. For Christ's sake, we don't mind. But don't do it at the expense of the following counties: Tana River, Isiolo, Marsabit, Turkana. You don't need Lamu. You don't need Taita Taveta. You don't need all this. You don't need Narok. You don't need these counties. Please, let us treat this nation as one nation. Yani ninasema kwa ufupi, hii press statement nimeita kwa sababu ya maneno ya ugandamizi ambayo yameongewa na naibu wa rais. Naibu wa rais anasema mali ya Kenya ama resources za Kenya zikuwe allocated kutumia population, kutumia nambari ya wananchi peke yake.